You're listening to The Young, where young people have real conversation on how to live a life worth living.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to The Young Podcast. My name is Nicole and today I'm joined with my friends Sam Partita and Victoria Hernandez. Woo! I always tell them to insert drumroll and they never do. So every time we go here, it just looks silly. Because it's just me. Anyways, alright. Hey, thank you guys so much for being here, by the way. Super awesome. But before we get started, I thought we'd get to know you a little bit, okay? So I want to know two things about you guys. The first thing I think is a great fun fact question is, what is your go-to ice cream? Like, if you're like, yo, I'm feeling ice cream, you go to like the store, go-to ice cream, what do you get? Deep. Victoria said
well, first I don't.
vanilla.
No, definitely not. I don't get ice cream like at a store. If I get ice cream, it has to be like really to scoop it for me.
From like an ice cream shop?
Yeah.
Like Thrifties.
Yeah, like okay, so if we're talking Thrifties.
Yeah, what do you get?
Probably like Rocky Road.
Okay, me
or
too.
Don't Hate Me, Black Cherry.
Oh.
Don't even brag on me. It's so good.
Gross. Sam?
To be honest with you, Nicole, I'm dairy free.
Oh, that's right.
So I used to not be.
She
so
said
before
vegan
that,
ice cream, Trader Joe's.
Before that, I used to like get cookies and cream. I love that. But then I can't eat dairy anymore, so now I eat Halo Top. So shout out to Halo Top. With the dairy free.
She said Bisco Girl Halo Top.
Okay. The last question I want to ask is, what's your go-to shoe?
Air Force Ones.
Air Force Ones,
That's
for real?
facts.
You
Same
go
here.
for
We
it?
both have Air Force
Oh,
Ones.
facts. Yo, okay, me too. Do you guys like the black ones?
No.
Talk about Nate Torres. Nate Torres, he's been on this podcast.
Have you
If you have
seen those
black
memes?
ones, throw yourself in a trash can for the Lord. Just kidding.
For the Lord. Yeah, jump. Okay, hey, I want to dive into this podcast just because I think people are probably like, dude, get to the point of what you're saying. So I want to intro you guys just a little bit because you guys are quite humble and probably want to introduce yourselves. But so Sam, you, social media influencer, you have, I don't know, over like 100K on Instagram, nearly 200K, right? On Instagram, you just finished filming a new series on Brat, which is it's pretty dope, not gonna lie. So that's awesome. So you can put actress under her name. And then I got Victoria, who I like to call Little Sweets. You danced for the lab when World of Dance season 2, and you just got off the summer international tour with J-Lo.
Yeah.
And J-Lo is not. It's J-Lo. You should know who J-Lo is, okay? So here's kind of what I want to target in today's conversation. Everybody probably in our generation, right? # Gen Z, is striving for success. Is striving for what you guys probably have or more, right? I wanna hear from you guys, having done what you guys have done and been where you've been. Talk to me about, is it as fulfilling as everybody thinks it is? Like, do you find like, man, I went on tour with J-Lo and I've never been more fulfilled in my life? Or like, talk to me about when you hit 100K, like you were like, oh bro, I made it. Like my soul is fulfilled. Talk to me about that process. Anybody?
Okay, I'm just gonna be flat out.
Yeah.
No, it didn't serve me any fulfillment. No joy, and I believe joy and happiness are two different things. So it definitely did not give me joy. It definitely did not give me fulfillment. But what it did give me was something to look forward and to push for my future goals too.
Yeah.
And it definitely made me happy in the moment.
Right.
It was fun in the moment. But looking back at it, yes, I grew, and yes, I had amazing opportunities because all of these amazing things that happened in my life.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't fulfill me to where I can say like, oh, I was satisfied with that, or I got off stage like feeling so happy and like so proud of myself. No, it was more like I got off stage or I got done with the show and then I was like, okay, that was awesome. Now let's see what else I can work on because I know I have more in me.
Wow.
But yeah, that's pretty
That's so
much
good. I want to ask, where do you find your fulfillment?
Okay, not trying to be religious or anything, but I truly do find my fulfillment when God is using me in a certain opportunity or situation. So if he can use me even for an ounce on tour, if he can use me for an ounce at a dance class that I'm teaching during a private, that's where I find my fulfillment in knowing that I was the vessel, or I was the farmer to plant the seeds there, but knowing that he's going to let them grow.
That's good. So would you say your fulfillment was never found in dance or anything?
Yeah.
But really in Jesus.
Yeah,
and who he
and
is.
how he used it.
So good. Sam, what about you?
That's good. Me personally, there just becomes this point where it's almost like it's like expected of you, you know, to be doing like every single accomplishment that I have. Yeah, I mean, over time, I mean, doing it with like a crowd and like being like public with everything, you know, like people tend to forget that like, yeah, you're human, you know?
Right.
And also it's like, no matter how much that I like was able to like accomplish, like I loved going on tour. You know, it was one of like the blessings that God gave to me, and it was one of God's promises.
Right.
But I feel like there was just so much more like to it besides just social media. Yeah. You know, and I mean, there was a time where after tour, I just remember like before I went on tour, it was just always like, when I get this, I'm gonna be good. Wow. You know, like when I hit this number, I'm gonna be good. I can just chill now. Or when I make this amount of money, like I'm gonna be good. Like so what's wrong with it? You know? But you know, money, and I would say like what I was looking at, like the money, all of that stuff, it's so temporary. Wow. You know, and like
it goes away.
It just goes away, you know? And there was like a time where like I like went shopping. I was like, yo, like, you know, temporary happiness, because that didn't stop me from like still being in my bed on the tour bus, like crying because I still felt so empty and I didn't know why, you know? And it was like feeling content with yourself is not something you can just put a price on, you know? Like the thing that brought me joy was seeing the joy on like my supporters' faces, you know, because I'm doing this because of them, you know, and they became like the rock, my rock, you know, literally my everything. And like I tried to like be a good role model, but at the same time, like their love like is very unconditional, you know, like I don't have to do much for them to like show me all this love and support. But at the same time, it was like, where am I gonna plug myself into to be able to keep this and be able to lead people, you know? If I wasn't good inside, I couldn't lead anybody. If I wasn't good inside, there was countless tour stops where I had to, you know, call it out. I had to go sit down. I had to, my anxiety, everything just got to me. It didn't even matter like what I had at the time, because I still felt so empty. You know, I realized that not even reaching a number was going to make me happy, you know? And I realized that, you know, after a while, there was a time where I just thought I could do it on my own. You know, there's just a point where you kind of reach, and it's really easy to like miss like the reason why you're doing what you do. Like, who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for the people that love and support you? Or are you doing it for the fact of you want to be someone, you know, like that's that, you know what I mean? You want to be like that person. Like, why are you doing what you do? Like, are you helping other people? You know, and who, like, I'm not to say what's right or wrong, but I know that for sure the only way that I like feel that I'm like content with like how my life's going, it actually doesn't have anything to do with like acting, social media, anything, but it has so much more to do with like what God has for me. Because if I'm not fulfilling God's purpose in my life, I just feel like I'm wasting time. That's good. And it's like no matter what I do, it's like I'll keep running, but it's like where am I going? There's no direction to it. So even when I try to like kind of steer my own boat and like live my own life in the way I think it is, it's just God's plan is so much more than just what you think. So I think
it's greater, right? What God has
so
for
much
us
greater,
is far greater than we think.
What we have.
I love this verse in the Bible. It says, "He who finds his life will lose it." Okay, but he who like basically saying like, but he who like gives his life for me, you'll find life. How have you walked through certain things? Like, have you ever been given an opportunity that maybe was a huge opportunity, and you're like, this, I know God's telling me not to do it? Like, how do you make choices in your life based on your belief in Jesus? Does that make sense? Like, we had this conversation yesterday, right? You were like, dude, this company wanted me to do this, and you're like, yo, I'm not even gonna cross that line. And based on like, hey, I've got to be honest with God, right? So how do you guys navigate through just, Jesus, I want to live my life for you in the sphere of influence that you've given me?
Okay, I have a perfect example for that question. Okay, so yes, I did the international portion of the tour, but that was totally God and his little plan, and it's very unique because when the opportunity for tour had approached, just the lab in general, they had asked for all of our, dates that were available and everything, and before, I just said no.
Okay.
And I had just recently committed to a missions trip here at church. So I committed to the missions trip probably like fresh off 2 weeks. And then the opportunity for the tour had arisen.
With JLo, right?
With JLo.
Here in America.
Mm-hmm. I said that I wasn't available on those dates. So I can't do whatever that job is. After finding out it was tour, I was like, dang, that really sucks. But I still didn't change my mind. I was like, no, I feel like God's really calling me to this missions trip. So I'm going to go to this missions trip, and though it may be so small in some people's eyes compared to being on tour with JLo for months over the summer, I knew it was what God had called me to do. For what reason, I had no idea. I wasn't even nearly as prepared to go to Peru as most people that went. So I was really just going in faith, and like, God told me to come here, I'm going to go. I go to Peru. It was amazing. A lot of great things happened there. I come back from Peru probably about like 2 weeks after being back in the States. I get a call from my director, and she's like, hey, we need you to fill a spot on the tour. Would you want to come? And I'm like, yes,
So good.
And so that is just like crazy to see like there's an opportunity, and though it may be far greater than the things that you're doing right now, there's a time and a place for everything, and you don't want to rush into things, because who knows what would have happened if I had said yes initially and not had went on the mission trip. What would have happened to me spiritually and just for my soul and like my heart, I don't know, but I just like thank God that.
That's so good. And I love how you said you found out and you still decided to go on this mission trip, but I love how God honors and blesses that. And here you go, you're back 2 weeks after, and you're chilling, you get a call.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that is so God. And I think sometimes we think, like, oh, God doesn't want us to enjoy life. Or God is just, he's not, God is good.
Yeah.
Right? And he wants to bless, and he gives us the desires of our heart. So I love how that kind of happened. And what about you? Like, how do you navigate through it?
Honestly, pretty simple. I'd say just literally the same way that God like instilled the dream into me. I think it's very important to like stick to who I am, because there's a lot of things that could change you.
So good.
Yeah. There's a lot of situations that you could run into.
Right.
There's a lot of that like change you as a person and make your heart bitter. But I just think that like how I navigate through it is I kind of branded myself. And if something just doesn't fit it, or they're asking me to kind of step out in a way that I don't want to, because it's like the media, you know what I mean? Like, let's see what gets more views.
Sure.
What do you have to do to get more of this, more of that? I don't care how many views I get, you know what I mean? In reality, there could be 2 people watching, that's 2 people, that I can be cool with and like we can have a relationship with. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I don't feel that it's me to really step out and branch myself out in a different way to just for the point of like getting more of this and getting more of that. I just want to stick to being myself and keep like doing what genuinely makes me happy in a place where I have to people please, and I just making sure that it's of God and it's like it's me, how I roll. So I mean, never changing under any circumstance, no matter how much money they're offering, no matter anything, like sticking to yourself and believing that like God's got you genuinely, and every step of the way, like it's not your like weight to carry, and just like really like thriving in God's faith.
I think it's really just, it comes down to, do you have the ability to have delayed gratification in God's promise and in his timing? Because if you don't, you're going to miss so many things, and you're not going to be able to catch them when they do come. Just going to fly right over you because you chose to grab the thing that was like quick in the moment, happiness and fulfillment. But God has so much more for you if you just
So
wait.
good.
That
And-
lasts. Too.
Yes.
It lasts.
Wow.
What God
'cause
has for
said-
you,
Yeah.
it stays.
And I want to ask this. I want to talk about this word emptiness. Have you ever felt in your life, wow, like everybody wants this, and I just feel empty? Have you ever gotten to that point where you're just like, I'm getting DMs and people are like, oh my gosh, like you're awesome, oh that's so cool, but inside when you're reading those DMs, you're laying in bed, empty, and how do you have to navigate through that and say, God, give me fulfillment, give me peace? Have you ever been in that place, and two, how do you navigate out of it?
Okay, so it did happen to me, and it sucks to say, but it's just being aware of that it did happen and accepting that it happened. Back to the dance, to being on the show. Right after the show had ended, obviously you have to hold that secret in for so long until the actual episode airs. But in the time that I had actually got off the show, for the people that didn't know within the dance community, or just within like my family and stuff, they have so much expectation for you to be happy, to enjoy what just happened to you. But I came to a point where for about 3 to 4 months, immediately after, I felt lost, and I felt like, God, like something amazing just happened, and I don't feel like I'm feeling the exact emotion to the point that I should be feeling. I don't feel like I'm jumping up for joy inside, so something must be wrong with me. And it caused me for like 3 to 4 months just to go into like this like depression and have like anxiety and just be like thinking so many negative thoughts on myself and just scrolling on Instagram and being like, I just got off a show, but I want that. I just got off a show, but I'd rather dance like that, and I don't think that what I was dancing was good enough like this person. It was just constantly comparing, which left me empty inside, and also to not realizing that I hadn't give God the praise that I needed to give him, and I didn't give him the honor that I needed to during the show, which caused me to backfall into this whole emptiness, like what you said.
So good.
So I think, and when you're dealing with like emptiness, or you're dealing with something so big like that, with a big opportunity or a big outcome, you have to really like sit back and give God that praise and honor that he deserves. Because if you don't, it's like harboring something, and it's keeping something in with you, and it's just gonna rot if you don't let it go. So yeah.
Damn.
It's the truth. It's the real truth.
I have 3 questions based on that thing, or maybe 2. The first one, I think it really goes back to the very first question I asked you. You're not going to be fulfilled if you don't go to the one who fulfills you, right? Who satisfies you. My favorite Bible verse passage in the Bible is John 4. It talks about the woman at the well, and it talks about how she was at the well getting water, right? Because she's thirsty. And she talks about how she has this encounter with Jesus. Yeah. Right, and Jesus calls her out, and he's like, hey, can I have a drink? And she's like, me? Like, what do you mean? And all of a sudden, Jesus takes a natural circumstance and makes it this spiritual encounter and says, hey, you've had 5 husbands, right? And the man you're with now is not even your husband. And calls her out and is basically saying, yo, you're thirsty. Yeah. Like, not only are you physically thirsty, but your soul is looking for something that's satisfying you. And the reality is all 3 of us, we may have not had 5 different guys in our lives, or we're going to. Yeah. But there may be 5 different things that we're running to look to fulfill us, right? Yeah. Like, maybe we're running to, like, yo, Instagram will fulfill me. Yeah. This dance show's gonna fulfill me. Yep. This Brat TV show's gonna fulfill me. And what we come to realize is none of those fulfill us, because they're not meant to. Yeah. Like, Jesus is supposed to fulfill us. And so I love that. But the second thing you said is the glory. Mm-hmm. And this is going to go into our final question here, is the glory is never supposed to be on us. Yeah. Right? Like, it always should be right back to the Lord. Right back to Jesus. God, you deserve the glory. And it's not a cutesy saying. It's a truthful saying. Jesus, it's yours. How do y'all navigate with eyes on you? You ever feel like you've got so many people watching your stories, so many people watching your dance moves, so many people watching all these things. How do you choose to redirect that off you? Bam. Anybody can answer it.
I feel like for me, I don't have as much like followers as Sam does, or as much as any dancer really does. Maybe I do have a lot, but I'm not gonna say like I have the most.
Yeah.
But for me, at least, knowing that I have a lot of eyes on me, I still try to, like Sam does, stay true to who you are, because if you can direct people to see the real you without having to put out all the, like, people will say like, oh, so many people are in comparison with social media, and it causes so much depression and anxiety and stuff because people only put out the good stuff about their life. But if you can find the balance to just post the appropriate things that are good about your life, and not necessarily have to post all the bad things, but just directly be real, that's kind of how I try to navigate all the eyes off of, oh, I'm just a dancer, oh, I can only do this move, and just trying to be like, hey, like, this way is who I am, and I'm also gonna be real to me, and that's not just being like, oh, like, I'm this way. It's being real to me is like, I trust in God, and so whatever I'm gonna do, it's gonna be according to His word and to His promise. So I'm not gonna push it on you, and you don't have to like it. But hey, if you don't like it, that's okay. I'm still here for you. Like, you can still follow me and stuff. But that's how it's gonna be.
I want each of you to answer this question. What does Jesus mean to you? Like, who's He in your guys' life?
He's, I mean, to me, it's one of those, like, falling back on the question you just recently asked, I wouldn't necessarily say, like, how is life, like, you know how you said, like, with people watching you, like, eyes on you type of thing? Honestly, for me, it's just how would you act if eyes weren't on you? You know what I mean? I try to just imagine it as this, is that sometimes you have a following, certain things that you do, it's for that reason.
Wow.
You know, but like, how are you acting like when no one's watching you? I think that that's who you really are.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel that at times it's just really easy to get caught up in a lot of other things and like lose the main reason why you're doing what you do. But I feel like things make me happy, yes, but like, do they like make me feel whole? That's kind of where like Jesus comes in. You know, I think He's just basically the person that's driving me, and like, I'm literally in the passenger. And the second I let Him take the wheel, I have no fear of crashing. But, like, let me try to just, like, switch seats with Him real quick and guide me. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, I don't really know if I'm going to make it past a couple lights, you know? So I just think it's, like, keeping Him as, like, the person that I don't care, like, God, in my eyes, it's like, God is the one that created everything, correct? He created the life that I'm supposed to live. He, like, built my dream, like, my purpose. So it's like, I don't mind being managed by anybody, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I look to God as that, you know? And the social media world, it's like, who are you managed by? Well, if it's not that person, then they're probably just, you know? It's like, I look to God as, like, my manager, my, like, literal, like, person that directs me. Like, just, like, everything, like, just, like, they're all in one type of thing. I think that's, like, who God genuinely is to me. Because if I lost it all today, I would be okay with just having God. So.
And, you know, this is a saying that we've said, and I said this to you before you went on tour, and it was, keep the main thing the main thing. And I think that's so true, right? If you keep Jesus, who is the main thing, keep Him the center of your life, it's like, all right, like, whatever comes my way, whatever I lose, whatever I gain, it doesn't really matter as long as, God, you're the center of my life. All right, sweets, last question. Who is Jesus to you?
Point blank, my best friend. Maybe cliche, but I mean, when you really think about, like, okay, what's a best friend? I don't really know, but I know that Jesus is there. He's there to direct my life. He's there to be there for all the crazy questions I may have, or all the logical questions I may have. He doesn't judge me on whatever I'm doing, or maybe I did make a stupid mistake or said a stupid word, and I'm just like, Jesus, I know you got it right. And He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I got it covered. And He's there to always make you laugh. I mean, there'll be times where I'll just come like a spirit of laughter will just come over me for literally no apparent reason. I can just be by myself.
Wow.
And like I'll just think about like something that when I was younger that I had like thought of, and then just realizing it now that I'm older, like
So
that wasn't
good.
my thought, that was God, like
Yeah.
that was God like instilling something in me subconsciously
I
that
love
I may think of it now. And so I'm just like, Jesus, you're so like you're so good, like that's
Aw.
so smooth, you know. So I just think like he's just like my best friend. He's just
Yeah.
always there, and like not to like steer it wrong or like make you guys think that like, oh, like having Jesus at the center of it all is so easy and it's so simple, because it's not. It's really hard, and especially if like you're looking to get into like this kind of like world, it's not going to be hard, but it's going to be so peaceful, like in the journey of it. The journey is going to become so smooth, and it's going to definitely like change it all, but there are going to be times where you're like going to be wrestling and fighting with him, and like
So
wrestling and fighting with your flesh, like
So
but
good.
I really want to do it.
Cool.
And you might
Yeah.
make mistakes, but like just know that like Jesus being at the center of it all means that you can come back to your core,
Right.
and then everything
Yeah.
will still fall in place after. But it's gonna be a journey, and it's gonna be a progress.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wait, adding on to that
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
I also feel that a lot of the, I feel like just following God, like, in general, especially in this, like, industry and all of that, if you're ever, like, looking to get into it or whatever, I feel like a lot of things that we could have ran into, like, God literally just picked us up and
yeah.
put us over.
For sure.
And I feel like in an industry where there's a lot of just, people that, like, scams or people that try to just money, you know what I mean? There's a lot going on that isn't, it's not, like, it's not good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I feel like when you keep your eye on God, like you've always told me, like when you chase God, your dreams follow. You don't have to go through a lot of stuff that other people have had to go through. So.
So stinking good. Hey, we're gonna do something called the last 30. We always do it. You've got literally 30 more seconds. You got a timer right there. You got 30 more seconds to tell the viewers or listeners what they got. Okay. So this camera right here. Ready?
Okay.
I'll start, and we'll go with sound, and we'll end with sweets.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Hey, my last 30 would be this. Man, Jesus will fulfill you. He's the one who satisfies you. So I always tell Sam and anyone who really listens is if you just chase Jesus, he'll lead you straight to your dreams. So go after Jesus, get to know him, because he's so in love with you. Yo, that was mine.
It's a fact. Not bad. Okay. My last 30, whatever it's called, just remember, love yourself, love others unconditionally, and just remember that God is here for you, and he wants your dreams to be accomplished way more than you do.
Come
in a
on.
bigger way.
That's right.
And there's always a bigger vision to yourself than what you think. So just know that, keep God the center of it all.
Come on. How much was that? She was like, what, 8 seconds? All right, Sweets, ready? You're up.
I'm ready. Okay. Anyways.
She said, whoa.
Okay. If I could leave you with anything, I'd probably say like you don't have to chase anything when you're with Jesus or when Jesus is the center of it all, but rather just stay next to him and just stay like tethered to him, like literally like wrap yourself around him, that he may like lead you and he may run with you, rather than him being so far and you're like chasing him. That never happens when you're with him. So just stay close and connected with him and just follow in his timing.
Word. She went over 30, huh? That's fine.
Don't even come at me.
Literally.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. As you know, we have podcasts every single Friday. So we love you and see you next Friday. Peace.
Subscribe.